Hi guys, welcome to week 2 of Ditch and Switch. I hope you all enjoyed last week. And this week I'm excited to talk to you about nutrition and supplements. My name is Kimber Brownlee. I'm an executive with Young Living and I have a bachelor's degree in nutrition and fitness. And so I love researching health and just finding ways that I can make my family healthier and help others to be healthier. I have a husband and 2 kids who I put a lot of love and effort into feeding nutritious meals. And I also have a third on the way, so this is a time that I'm really trying to focus on optimal nutrition for myself. Although I'm excited to share with you about Young Living supplements this week, I'm actually going to start with nutrition first today because that is the most important thing. Supplements are there to fill in the gaps and nothing can replace a consistently healthy diet. As we all know, our health is not something to take for granted. Whether we've been sick in a major or a minor way, our health is precious and it can truly affect the quality of our life in big ways. We also know that health in America especially just continues to decline. For example, according to the World Health Organization, about 2.8 million people die every year as a result of being overweight or obese. That is a huge number and it doesn't need to be that big. Also, I'm specifically passionate about our children and teaching them to eat healthy and bringing them up in a healthful way so that we can change the route that our country is going on. Right now, it's not going so well though. Type 2 diabetes in children was almost unheard of decades ago. In 1980, there were 0 reported cases, but in 2010, there were 57,636 cases. That is a huge difference in 3 decades, and I think that it also speaks to how much our food has changed over the past decades also. I mean, it's sad that French fries can be counted as a vegetable in a school lunch these days. We also spend a whole lot of time and money and energy on being unwell. Americans filled about 4.3 billion prescriptions in 2014 and spent $374 billion on medicine. I know that everyone would like to spend their time and their money and their energy on much better things than that. And so health and eating healthy is not something to take lightly. And we are eating every day, multiple times a day. So if we are spending our time and our energy and our money on that, we don't want to be doing it by getting foods that are damaging our health. Why not spend all that time and money and energy focusing on foods and practices that will increase our health and just give us optimal life in so many ways? I know that there's a lot of talk these days about whole foods and real foods and clean eating, whatever it is you want to call it, but that is extremely important. We want to go ahead and clean out our cupboards, clean out our fridges, clean out our kitchen from all the things that have preservatives. Healthy and nutritious food usually does not come in a box. It comes from the earth. It's simple things that we are putting together and adding simple flavors to them, whether through herbs or spices or essential oils. And so we want to stay away from things that have long ingredient lists, that have preservatives, that have chemicals that are made in laboratories. And it can take time to prepare our food, but it's well worth it. And if we keep it simple, it's something that we can all do. And so something that I wanted to talk about today with you is meal planning. And I know that that's a word that everyone may not love because maybe it's something that you've tried and it hasn't worked out for you, or it just sounds too rigid or too overwhelming and it's not really something you want to give a try. But in order for eating to affect our health, we have to eat healthy consistently. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen if every once in a while we go on a healthy eating kick and then go back to eating foods that are filled with things that are not good for our health. And so I strongly feel that a key to healthy eating is planning. So that includes meal planning and it includes pre-prepping. However, I know that it doesn't usually work if we just try to copy someone's meal plan straight off of the internet. We all have different families. We all have different taste, abilities to cook, different schedules, different amounts of time. And so what someone else does probably will not work well for us, and that can probably lead us to not follow through. And so today I want to be able to help you find something that will work for your family, that you feel like you can do forever to help you keep eating healthy. And so I'm going to go over a few key categories to think about to help you create a flexible meal plan for your family. I've been doing a flexible one for years that I created, and it's worked really well for us. So the first thing that you want to think about is having some reliable recipe sources. There are so many recipes out there today, great ones, and thank goodness for the internet for providing that and for great cookbooks. But we're busy these days, and we can spend or we can waste a lot of time searching for recipes. And that's time that we don't have or that we want to spend doing other things. And so making sure that you nail down a few key and reliable recipe sources that you know that you and your family love is going to help you so much when you sit down with that pencil and paper and write out your meal plan. The second thing to think about is how often you want to grocery shop. I know that some people like to pop into the grocery store a couple times a week. Some people like to go weekly, or I even know those who like to do just a big grocery shopping trip once a month. And so think about what you like to do, what you have time for, and what works for your family. And then lastly, and the biggest thing, is thinking about your schedule. Whether it's just you or if you have a large family or kids in different phases of life, we have to think about what our mealtime looks like personally and how we need to adapt to make that work so that we all have healthy food to be consuming when we're hungry. And so I'll go through those categories and just share with you what I do for my family and how they help me to develop an easy meal plan that has worked well for us. And so the first thing, having some good recipe sources. I just have, I think, about 5 blogs that I know every single recipe I've made from these authors has been great. My family has loved it. It's easy. It doesn't require too many ingredients. And so, for special occasions, I might stray away from that and look for some new recipes or if someone gives me a suggestion. But I love to have those key ones there that I can go to and know we're gonna love. I also have a Pinterest board where every time I make a meal for my family that everyone agrees they enjoyed and that they would eat again, I pin it straight to that board so that all the meals we like are there and I can easily go back to them and pull them out when needed. The next thing, how frequently you want to grocery shop. I have a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, and I almost always grocery shop with them, which I don't really find to be easy or fun. So for me, the less often I can do it, the better. And so I go every 2 weeks. So that means just twice a month I'm having to sit down and write out a meal plan and do all of that prep work. It also, it's something where I can also throw the kids in the stroller and just walk to the store midway through and grab some fresh produce to help us make it through until the end. So every 2 weeks works really well for me right now in this stage of life. And lastly, our schedule. That is a biggie here. I know we're all so busy and my family has a crazy schedule. Rarely do we all eat a meal together. And so that means that I have to find a way to still create meals that are going to be in the fridge for all of us to enjoy. And so the thing that I came up with that works really well for me, I know that I cannot have a pretty menu board with Monday through Friday and have meals assigned to each day. That would never work for us, and I would get frustrated and end up scratching them out and probably just quitting. And so my solution to that is I just grab a notepad. Since I grocery shop every 2 weeks, I know that I need 14 dinners for us, and I just pick out 14 meals from my reliable recipe sources, write them down in no specific order. I buy the ingredients, and then I come home, and each night before I go to bed, I look at it and I see what meals are there, and I think about tomorrow and what we have going on, who's gonna be around, how much time I'll have to cook, and I pick out a meal and make sure that I have the ingredients thawed for it for the next day. And it's as easy as that. I love that I can just plan day to day, because our week and our life is ever changing, and I usually can't plan on anything a couple days ahead. So this has worked great for us. And when we're done with a meal, I just check it off. And when I get towards the end of the cycle, it keeps dwindling the choices I have left, and it's perfect because I use up everything in my fridge that I bought for the meals. So that is how I create my meal plan. Another thing to think about is having some fill in the gap foods. If we want to eat healthy, we have to have some healthy things just to grab, some things to throw together for breakfast or for snack, or even for dinner if you've had a really crazy day and what you thought you were going to make didn't work out. And so I'm not talking convenience junk foods, things for wraps, for salads, for in our hors d'oeuvre night, making easy quesadillas, things like that, that, you know, make a little list of my emergency meals, is what I call them. And make sure you have those kinds of foods on hand, because that will also really save you from resorting to unhealthy things for your family. And lastly, I recommend pre-prepping your food in some way. And I know that can be intimidating too. A lot of prepping suggests spending a big 2 or 3 hour time chunk cutting up all your stuff, making meals for the week. And I think that sounds great, and I would love to do it. But right now in my life, I just can't find that big of a time chunk to do it. And so for me, pre-prep just looks like maybe during nap time, prepping a little bit for that night or for the next day. Or we definitely do the cook once, eat twice. That works really well for my family. But I do believe that some sort of prep is necessary. I think it would be really hard to consistently eat healthy if you were creating every meal from scratch right before it was time to eat. And that would be very stressful too. So I hope that these tips can help you think about developing a system that works for you and works for your family. I also want to encourage you, if you are just getting started with healthy eating and you've ditched the stuff from your cupboards and you're wondering about what to do next, it's really helpful. I think we can all think of someone in our lives, in our area, who is really into healthy eating and seems to have it down. I would suggest contacting them and just asking them for their help. If they're into it, they're gonna love talking to you, because I know that I've spent time looking up the prices of different healthy foods all over the stores in my town. I've spent time calling local farmers, finding the best places to get things and finding the quality of items. And so I've got that down, and it's easy for me now. It's just normal for me. But when you're getting started, that can be hard, and it can take a lot of time. So grab a friend who's already doing it and just have them teach you their ways. I know I'm not good at sewing. I'm not good at computer stuff. And so if I wanted to learn that and make it a part of my life, I would definitely get someone who already knows how and save me a lot of stress and time. So if you live in my area and you have questions about where I get stuff or what kind of things that I get, I would love to help you with that. So just let me know. Let me know below in the comments also anything that you learned today, or how you feel about meal planning, or what you do for your family already. And then tomorrow I will be posting some simple and healthy recipes that use essential oils for flavoring. So that will be really fun, and I'm excited to show you that. And then I will see you back here on Wednesday to talk to you about supplements. All right, bye guys.